talking about building hot rods here. Not talking about sugarcoating. We're talking about everything. Knuckle busting. The rust in your fucking eyes. We're talking about building fucking hot rods. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's All About the Build podcast. As always, you got me, Elliot Slack, here along with the one and only...
I'm here. I'm Randy. What's up, guys?
Randy Bunting. Hopefully everybody had a good week out there in podcast land.
Podcast land.
Podcast land. And wherever you're listening to us, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Also, don't forget to reach out to us. Let us know what you want to hear about. And also, we're in the process of looking for upcoming episodes. We're going to have guests on. So if you know somebody that's in the industry that might have a good story, might have a cool car, you know somebody who turns wrench in the backyard and is pretty damn good at it, we want to hear from you. So point us in your direction and we can go from there. Get on the website, go to the podcast section. You can write down, you'll see. If you're listening to this, you found us, you should be able to figure it out on the website.
Yeah, drop us a note.
Send
us an email.
Yeah. Today we got episode 14 coming at ya.
What are we talking about today?
Today, we've dabbled in some stuff like this before, but not a topic of just straight on this. We are going to talk about upgrades and the benefits of them.
And all these upgrades, I feel like we're going to be talking about later on more individually as well.
Oh yeah, this is just a broad spectrum, a little bit of a rundown of what we're upgrading engines. You know, the engine swap, the LS swap, the Coyote swap, shit like that. Parts upgrades, obviously. We're looking at fuel injection wiring, gauges. Radios. We're going to dabble into pretty much everything that we're going to tell you about the benefits of it, because at the end of the day, we're calling them upgrades because that's 90% of our business. Now, granted, we do restoration work, but let's face it, the shit that I love to do is upgrades outside of, making metal look cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we do.
Yeah. I feel like it's, you can call it custom car building, but
it's not called I.B.F.HotRods for nothing.
Right. But you can call it custom. You can call it custom car building, but at the end of the day, we're upgrading from. We're giving you all the, what do they call it? Creature comforts.
And then some.
Is that what they call it? Am I thinking of the right shit?
Creature comforts.
Yeah.
More like wants instead of needs.
Yes.
More like a sprinkle on the old cake topping.
Oh yeah. I like sprinkles.
Rainbow sprinkles are my favorite.
Yeah. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this one goes out to you.
I already opened mine. Sorry.
All right.
Crack. Click. Crack.
Crack. Click. Crack.
Sip.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, what's on the first topic here, Randall?
Don't call me that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can only call him that in the job.
Just kidding. Topic number one. We're going to start off with engines and transmissions. Not really. I mean, yeah, we're going to kind of talk about transmissions a bit, but not a lot. But we're going to talk about engines and what kind of engine swaps you can put in your car. I guess it depends on
what are the benefits of them.
The benefits, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about some benefits of just everybody wants to do the LS swap and all that shit, and it's all cool and fine and dandy.
Festival for that.
Yeah, but what is the number one benefit of that in your eyes, Randy?
In my eyes, I would say giving you a turnkey operation and reliability. That's a big one. Reliability is a big one, especially with the with the newer engines. I mean, obviously the newer engine, the lower mileage you have, the better.
Yeah.
Not always though, but most of the time it's the better.
Now, if it's a barn find that's got 20,000 miles in it and it's fucking 85 years old.
Yeah, well,
that's going to be a little
the
iffy.
less you use it, the worse it ends up being.
Yeah.
You lose it if you don't use it.
They don't rust because they're moving. Yeah. Unless they're in the salt fucking shit.
Yeah, unless they're in a salt belt.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if you're doing a newer engine swap, you're going to have fuel injection. So, I mean, not most of the time, all the time.
Yeah.
If you're doing a new engine, you're going to have fuel injection. So
new engine, not like a new big block, not a new crate engine.
No, I mean we're talking about like modern modular engines, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not all of them are modular. I apologize, but the LS is still push rod,
right?
But yeah, I mean it's all about the modern technology. So
the ability to tune it, the fact that it can speak to itself, you have all the diagnostics and shit right there.
Depending on what computer you're using, yeah. If you're going with a stock ECU out of a junkyard pickup truck, like a Chevy pickup, if you're doing an LS swap, 4.8, 5.3, or 6.0, most of the time, if you're pulling a computer out of the junkyard, or if you're buying it from eBay or whatever, that's going to be what it is, unless you get it tuned.
Yeah,
but that's not a self. It is a self-learning system, but only to a certain degree. It only has a very small.
Well, the parameters are
very, very tiny parameters.
California fucking parameters, pretty much, is still.
Yeah, so if you're doing that, then you're not going to have much tunability unless you take it to a tune shop. But if you're going with if you can still do an LS with a carburetor style throttle body like Holly Sniper, you can still do that as long as you have the correct intake for that. Those are self-learning, so you can plop that on and it learns itself, and that's what it's designed for. So that's very nice.
Yeah. So outside of reliability, you're gonna okay. So you got more control, over okay. So we were going to end this topic. We were going to get into just what Randy said about with throwing a sniper on top. Now, for you guys that aren't familiar with what we're talking about, basically, it is a fuel injection system that you pull the carburetor right on top, just like a carburetor. But this has usually 4 fuel injectors built into it. It's got a map sensor. It's got an IAC sensor.
It also has a
O2 sensor
O2 sensor, gas pedal,
throttle position
sensor. Sorry,
yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. I knew you were saying
throttle position sensor. But the only thing you have to wire up is the power, ignition, and then if you decide to run electric fans, you don't have to on those, but if you do have them, they have a provision for that, so you can hook up your relay for an electric fan, and it only comes with a coolant sensor, most of them, so you'll have to still wire up your oil pressure sensor, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
that's basically it. Use that, just wire up those couple things. As long as you do that properly, then it should work.
Now the funny thing is, when you start throwing that shit on top of your engine, on top of your intake, we're actually in the middle of doing that right now. Randy's working on that 49 Diamond T, and he's got the dual Phytech.
Yeah, dual Phytech system. So each throttle body has 4 injectors. So that's an 8 injector setup.
Yeah.
So you got 4 injectors in the rear, 4 injectors in the front. So instead of 4 injectors
for 8 cylinders, and having it, spread out in the intake, you now have double the coverage for the front and rear. So yeah,
it's a lot more. It's I would say. I mean, I haven't tested it out yet because we haven't gone down the road with it yet. But I would say that your throttle response is going to be a lot better.
Yep.
and your drivability is going to be a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the kicker: being two throttle bodies. It's not like the old days when you got the dual quad carburetor. You don't have to individually tune those.
Yeah.
So you plop them on, and they work together, and they learn themselves. So it's
the only thing you really got to quote unquote tune is make sure when you hit the throttle, it opens up both.
Well, there's a setting. There's a setup for the throttle position sensor. When you first turn everything on, you first go through all the settings. What's your cubic inches and your cam rating and all that kind of stuff. Then eventually you'll get to, well, at least on the on a few of them, a few of the systems, it'll go through a throttle position learn, and it'll have you push down the throttle very slowly all the way to floor, and then raise it up all the way up, and then that's how that gets programmed.
Yeah. But with you saying about actual 8 injectors, the beauty of that is now you're going to have a lot better disbursement of the fuel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you're doing an LS swap or a Coyote swap or whatever fucking swap, that's damn near, that's either right behind the valve injection, or it's in the actual cylinder being injected.
Yeah.
So this is almost, this is as close as you can get to that type of system setup without actually throwing a brand new engine or a newer style engine in.
And I haven't even done the testing myself, but I've seen videos of testing, over a normal LS intake fueling system versus a throttle body intake on an LS. Actually, sometimes it makes better power with the electronic throttle body instead of I've seen a few videos of that. Like I said, I haven't done the testing myself, so I can't. We're just
YouTube researching here.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like, not to cut you off there, Randy.
No, you're fine.
The fact that you're getting a better coverage, your engine's going to be burning cooler because you're getting a cleaner burn. You won't be getting a lot of lean burn, because
you can't really. It's hard to control the exact amount of fuel that actually goes into your chamber.
Yeah, that's a lot of old hot rodders. They call it what the hell is it? They call it like a hot cylinder or dead cylinder or something, where they just can't get that fuel to go to a certain cylinder, and you will get, you'll have one plug that's not where it's noticeably where that's not burning properly.
Right.
Because it's getting less fuel.
Right.
And then one's getting more fuel. You know what I mean? So then, you can have some issues there.
You could have some different readings on your spark plugs.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. But if that's the case, your entire inside of your fucking engine, your cylinder walls and everything, one's being burned properly, one's not. So you're getting more damage in certain areas. And it's just not good. So these upgrades, the benefits we're talking about here for this upgrade, outside of just dropping a new engine in to be that fucking efficient, it's going to be a beneficial just to the fact that you can pop it off whenever you ask it to. It could be 5 degrees out and it's going to fucking pop off. And
that I have tested.
Yes, that we have tested. And it works every time.
It worked fine.
Yeah,
it's worked great. You could literally have if you wanted to, if you live in like a state that doesn't have snow all the time, but sometimes you get some snow like in the winter time or ice here and there, but still almost to the point where you can almost drive your classic all year round.
Yeah.
Maybe put it away for like 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
But you could literally, with the throttle body injection,
you could daily that.
You can literally drive that thing all year round.
Yeah.
No matter what temp it is outside.
Well, even if you have an old school truck or something like that, even if you got an old pickup truck,
yeah,
it would be completely beneficial to throw on something like that.
Yeah, if you daily drive an old like 78 C10 pickup,
fuck yeah,
or C20 pickup that is old and rusted out or whatever, and you just want to drive it, it doesn't matter. You just want to drive it. Put a throttle body on there, and you don't even have to double pump it.
Yeah. You wouldn't even have to worry about, pulling the whole engine out. Like, yeah, the benefits of dropping an LS in or dropping a Coyote in or fucking a Hemi or whatever. You don't have near the amount of hassle. Actually, you know what? It's kind of... Is there really much of a difference outside of just pulling the whole engine out and putting a new one in? Like, you're still wiring shit in.
Yeah, but I mean, you could literally have it done in a couple hours.
Right.
I mean, an engine swap, you could technically do in a couple hours if you have enough people to help and the right tools at the right time.
Right.
But it's a lot. I think it's a lot easier just to, if you wanted to keep the same engine in there.
Well, I mean, if you want to, you could have it done in a few hours if you don't mind beating the fucking shit out of the engine bay and not having to be fucking easy on it.
Right.
And you don't care what the wiring looks like.
No, I mean, if it's an old rig and you're just, if it looks kind of clapped out in there, you just zip tie it up and you're good to go.
Oh yeah, don't forget about that big red motherfucking power wire. Just cut that the whole way across the top.
Yeah, and if you're doing these throttle body systems, just do what they say and wire it directly to the battery.
Right.
No, not the whole thing. Just read the directions.
Yeah.
Read the directions. But and also another good thing about these throttle body systems like Phytech and Holly Sniper and all those is that you can actually find these used on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously they're still kind of on the expensive side. I mean, you're still going to be buying them for upwards to $1,000.
Yeah, but still, that's a fucking hell of a deal.
But you can still find them for $700-800 sometimes. If you get lucky. So they are out there for a reasonable price if you don't want to buy it brand new.
Now you were saying right before we hit the old record button, you were saying about Jegs has a cheap one, right?
Yeah, Jegs.
You're not familiar with it, but you were saying
I've never used it. I don't know how much it costs exactly.
I never even knew they had it. I mean, I don't know why.
It's called the Jegs Bandit. I don't know what generation they're on by now, but yeah, you can buy that too. There's also another one. I wasn't even going to mention it, but since we're talking about kind of like lower end models, I guess you could say, I don't know if Jegs is really a lower end model because I've never actually used it.
Let's just say price tag's low.
Yeah, the price tag's lower. There's a couple more companies that make them. I just don't remember off the top of my head. I should have wrote it down and before we did this episode, but I just, to be honest, I wouldn't even recommend using it. Just go with the name brand stuff. Just go with the stuff that people use. Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff is self-learning. So a lot of times people are selling shit because they're antsy and they expect you drop it the fuck on and all of a sudden it's supposed to work. And they're having issues with it because today they're fucking hammering the hell out of it, and then they're easing off of it, and they're not going through the proper procedure to get this thing to start running good and start doing its thing.
Yeah, you literally read the directions, read how to how to go throughout the process. That's all you have to do. If you have issues like there are issues that you can run into. I'm going to say this: there are issues you can run into with these systems. But typically, they are due to an engine issue, not the actual throttle body. That's a huge misconception that my throttle body isn't working because this is happening, when in reality, it could be because you have an intake leak or I mean, who knows? I mean, something going on with your valves, something internally that could be causing this issue. I mean, you still need to have a fully functioning engine to run these things.
Yeah, and it could also be operator error as far as like you wired it wrong.
That too.
You installed it incorrectly, like you just said about could be having leaks and shit like that.
Yeah, it could be bad grounds.
Oh yeah, that's always fun. But that's just some that is the benefits right there. As to if you're on the fence about an LS swap or a fucking Coyote, just an engine swap in general. If you're on the fence about something like that, maybe, and you have a perfectly good running engine, And you're not, if you want big horsepower and shit like that, I mean, then you might as well do an engine swap, because that's an easiest way to do it instead of tearing it out and rebuilding it. Unless you like to fucking build shit.
It also depends on what kind of car you have. If you're a stickler on what kind of what brand of motor engine goes into your car.
Yeah, we're editing that one out.
My mistake. It's not an electric motor, Elliot. But if you're doing an engine that matches your make, like a Ford and a Ford or Chevy and a Chevy. I like to do that because I just like having, no matter what it is, if it's a newer engine in an older car or truck or whatever. I typically like to keep it in the same. That's just me.
Right.
Sometimes I don't, because in my opinion, the modern hot rodders usually have more money than the old days.
Yeah.
Now, at least nowadays, I would feel like they have to, because everything costs so much money. But I still see brand new builds with like small block Chevys in them when they're like a 32 Ford, and I just don't agree with that. But anyway, the Coyotes, they are very, in my opinion, very nice running engines. They're overhead cam. It's not a push rod, so. The Coyote versus the LS, they're going to both have their pros and cons, and you still have the Hemi. You still have the Hemi, the Hellcat engine, all that kind of stuff. If you want to spend the extra money on those,
what is it, the Elephant now?
The Elephant,
all that shit,
whatever they got nowadays, I have no idea.
Right,
so many different versions of that. But you have those for the Mopar guys. You can put I've seen Hemis in square body Chevys. It's you can do whatever the hell you want, but you have so many different options nowadays to do whatever the hell you want. So yeah, and then after that, you do have your transmissions. So if you want to stick with your old 4-speed Muncie, that's fine.
3-speed.
But 3-speed or 4-speed, that's it's up to you. But if you want to actually drive the car in a long distance, you can pick up a 5-speed or even 6-speed.
Yeah. I almost every time I drive a 4-speed nowadays, whether it is an automatic or a standard, it's like just screaming, just begging to give me another gear to shift into. Yeah, I had a 99 car, a 1999 car, and it was a 4-speed. I'm just like, why didn't they put a damn 5-speed in this thing? Yeah. Where's the overdrive?
Even 2000. Yeah, give me an overdrive. Come on now.
Well, it's like that truck that we just got rid of.
When you get in the 90s, you start to get in the modern area. So
it was that leftover work truck from '99. Now it was a 5-speed, but it was a 2500 in first gear. Like you just put it in first gear and let the clutch up, and it just fucking creep all day wherever you wanted to go.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even really like a first gear.
That's fine. I did tree service one for a little bit, and we had an F550 that had a creeper gear, and it was a really low gear.
Yeah.
And it was nice, but it still had 5 more gears. So
yeah. I'm thinking even at 5-speed, it would cruise 75, 80 mile an hour, and I was still right around probably a little under $2,000.
Yeah.
Even with that creeper gear in it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, all it was a truck, work trucks. There wasn't anything to it, just a fucking cab on wheels.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that you're talking about your white truck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that thing was at a decent RPM and highway speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the year too.
For the year.
But yeah, just to have that luxury of 5 or 6 gears.
6 gears are a little bit more expensive, depending on what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah. You need more space, obviously.
Well, that
especially if you're running automatic.
Yeah. Well, then now they have 10 speeds and 8 speeds, and maybe even more. I don't.
Well, that 6-speed that we have in that C10 that we're doing, that fucking thing is. That thing's the whole way back to where my cup holders are.
Right?
that 6-speed's monster. And that's, but But that thing's going to be amazing. It's going to be a daily driver, and it's going to be in Hawaii being a daily driver. It's going to be fucking awesome. But that, the benefits of, obviously the biggest benefit is being like, you get more gears, you get better gas mileage. It's another benefit we didn't even talk about with the swapping the engines or
the EFI. Yeah. You're definitely going to get better gas mileage with that because it's literally computerized carburation.
Yeah.
Like it you're not guessing.
Yeah.
It's doing the work for you.
Right. Same thing with when you upgrade the transmission. If you get an electronic transmission, which is what these newer ones are, if you're talking about an automatic, it's going to shift when it's supposed to. You're not going.
And you can even get those things tuned to shift when you want, or how hard you want, how fast you want.
Yeah, there's no kick down cable or anything like that with that shit. So I mean, that's just better gas mileage. Like you said, you can tune it just like everything else, but
I mean, depending on the transmission and the age, you might need a transmission controller. Some the newer models, sometimes they're integrated into the actual ECU, but sometimes they're not. So just, I guess, kind of be aware of that if you're deciding to put a newer electronic transmission in it. If it's depending on what it is, you may need a separate controller. Right.
Now, would you say, in your opinion, Randy, would you say it's worth it? As far as like, we're gonna, if anybody's on the fence about doing a engine and transmission swap, obviously you would say it was worth it.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. It's hard. I mean, there are people who say it is easy for certain people, but
certain vehicles too.
Certain vehicles, yes.
You got to cut the firewall the fuck up.
It is easier sometimes, but it's difficult because I say it's difficult because depending on what you're putting it in, sometimes you have to notch the cross member, the K-frame. You need to make a new cross member.
New engine mounts.
Engine mounts. You might have to change something with either with the steering, or you may have to modify your headers to go around their steering, depending on what it is. There are a lot of companies that make kits for swaps, so it's depending on what you have and what's available. It's either going to be easier for you, harder, or it's going to be ripping your hair out kind of thing. But so it really just depends on what your goal is with your car or truck. Like for me, I would like to daily drive an old vehicle. So for me, it would be worth it. Definitely. It's time consuming.
Especially if it's your first one.
Oh yeah, especially that. Time consuming. Also depends on your schedule.
Yeah.
You can do a swap in a weekend, but how well that swap's going to turn out is depending on how long your weekend is.
Yeah.
But I would say it's totally worth it for having that kind of drivability and reliability, and just like I just want to go on down to, I don't know, Florida.
Yeah.
I can do it. If I want to drive cross country, I can do it.
Yeah. Hop on the old, Power Tour?
Power Tour? Yeah. Sick week, all that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. It's a lot easier to do that kind of stuff with modern technology these days.
I feel like one of the good things about it, if you don't have numbers matching, one of only 1,000 ever built, and you're contemplating like, should I do this or not? Is it going to hurt the value of the car or something? In my opinion, I feel like nowadays, if it's not something fucking special, then get rid of it. get rid of it or put a throttle body on top of it.
If it's something special like that, like one of 500 made or something like that, just don't. In my opinion, just don't touch it. Just go buy something else that you can rip up.
Well, you could actually put the throttle body on one of those.
Oh, it's
you could take it back off. That's a good thing about those.
Yeah, if you do that, keep your parts.
Yeah.
But no, I think, like I've seen a couple like aluminum block Mustangs with like a Phytech with dual Phytech throttle bodies. I come across that on YouTube, but that's fine. I think if it's a car like that and you're actually trying to drive it and not just let it sit in your garage or in a museum, then go ahead, put the throttle bodies on and make it more drivable so you can enjoy it.
I know we've done cars and shit where they were like, we're going to swap the engine and transmission out. I'm going to enjoy this thing, and when I get ready to sell it, I'm going to put it all back in because it's fucking 63.
If you actually follow through with that, then go ahead.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that because you know what? Most likely the car was restored anyways. The engine and transmission were already out of the car, so it's like, what do you really?
What is there to lose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good about that. But so, I mean, if you're looking to, as far as upgrades go and benefits, the engine and transmission, that's huge. That's just probably, we started with that topic because that's the best fucking topic to talk about. We can go on for hours on that shit. But another topic, obviously, is your suspension and chassis, man. And everything that goes with that. I mean, we're talking about just the whole frame itself, rear ends, drive shafts. If you're putting air ride on, coil overs, the brakes, the wheels, the whole 9 yards.
And we're going to give you a couple different options of upgrades that you can go with.
Yeah, no, I mean, right off the bat, people think people are crazy by taking the whole frame and everything out. But if you price out how much it would cost to do a lot of manual labor on some of these frames and putting 4 links in or whatever the fuck you want to do, you can get a brand new frame that has everything in it that you were talking about doing to it. So a brand new rear end, you can get it with the brake package already on the son of a bitch, the suspension package already on it. You could tell them what engine and transmission you're going to have, and they will build around your exact settings, and even wheel and tire package. You give them all this information, and it shows up, and you just put it like it's fucking together on the back of a truck, and you can get it painted in the whole 9 yards.
I guess it depends on what company you go with.
Right. Yeah. Right. But it shows up, and it's ready to rock and roll. Like you literally just
you have to look at you have to weigh the different options as far as what do you call it, the cost differential on just changing suspension parts on your current chassis or current frame and looking at the actual price of just replacing the whole thing.
Yeah, because the good thing about that is if you're depending on some of these companies, you can have that stuff turn. It's not that bad of a turnaround, especially if they do a lot of them. If it's something custom, something a little rare, it's going to take weeks and weeks and months to get the son of a bitch all engineered and done. But if it's something that they can, they specialize in, fuck.
The last one I used was TCI, and that was about, I want to say, how long was that of a wait? That was, how long was that? 8 weeks?
That's not bad.
12 weeks? 8 to 12 weeks?
Right.
Something like that, but anyway.
Which wouldn't be bad if you were planning a build. If you were planning a build and you're like, okay, this is exactly what I want. Call them, talk to them, and then you can gradually get the rest of your shit. And by the time that shows up here,
yeah,
you could be doing body work and shit like that on the car itself or truck or whatever.
Leave it on your old frame and do the rest of the body work you need to do, and You can even test fit your engine and everything in that.
Yeah.
Because most likely, if you do your math right and do everything right, your new chassis is going to have the same dimensions. So
A lot of times they make some stuff like even if you weren't ready for the transmission yet, they will give you options and they will build stuff onto the damn frame and chassis setup. That you can move it's
adjustable.
Yeah, it's adjustable.
Yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for, Randy.
I got you, buddy.
But yeah, I mean that's just we're talking about Roadster Shop chassis, TCI, Art Morrison. There's even a company called No Limit that we've used in the past. There's even more.
Oh,
there's a shitload more I don't even fucking know about, but these are just big names that you guys might be familiar with.
Yeah, most likely Roadster Shop or Art Morrison. TCI is probably not as well known, but they are known.
Right.
It really just depends on your budget and how. I mean, each one has their pros and cons, I think.
Yeah.
It's just all about for if you have the kind of money to spend on a full frame. I mean, it's all about your aesthetics and
yep.
And they're just picking the right one for you.
Yeah, I mean the one thing I have noticed, I haven't been part of a build where I brought a frame in that I didn't have to adjust a little bit here and there.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty common, I think.
So I mean, it is kind of a one size fits all type of deal. So, but you know how it fucking goes.
Yeah.
But it's if you're not going to do a full frame and you just let's say you could box in your frame if you wanted to.
And then the benefits for doing a full frame from an aftermarket company is the updated suspension geometry and stiffness of the frame.
Yeah, they've already done the fucking engineering.
They've done the engineering. I mean, it's literally, if you're on the fence, just do it. It's gonna feel like a brand new car or truck.
Yeah, if you're on the fence, like you have the money to do it.
I mean, and think about it. These frames usually cost anywhere between 15 to. It could be 15 to 20, 15 plus 15. I've seen them for 18,000, 20,000.
Yeah.
They could, depending on what options you go with, it could end up another 10,000.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, you can get this thing will show up with fucking the whole brake package and everything on it if you want it, depending on who you go with.
Yeah, and you can buy Willwoods. You can buy your basic, GM brakes, Ford brakes.
Yeah.
You could literally you'll go on their website and you click everything you want, and you build it. You build it.
Make a wish list.
Yep, make a wish list.
It's awesome.
What a good time we live in.
Right, right. Who would have thunk, man? But if you're not going to go that route, and let's say you're looking for some more, you're trying to get more power to the ground or whatever, even if you're trying to get more fuel economy and shit like that. That's whenever you're putting in new gears or even putting in a different rear end and stuff will fucking benefit you immensely. And, you're looking at the Mosiers and the Curies and the Strange. You're looking at just going and getting a fucking Ford 9-inch out of something. It's going to a junkyard and upgrading. As long as you know what the gear ratio is, then you should be able to do whatever you want. So I mean, it's if you like
and those companies are going to build you a nice strong housing for your higher horsepower car.
Oh yeah. Even if it's not a high horsepower car, even if you just want something new, I mean, going aftermarket's fucking the way to go.
And aesthetically, they look. They look a lot nicer than a stock 9-inch or at 8.8 or whatever. Anything stock, really.
Right. The welds in general look fucking great too.
And everything's gonna be like tighter tolerances.
Yep.
Better parts as far as like your bearings and your axles go.
Yep.
Everything's gonna be harder metal.
And if you have any problems, you fucking call them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have great customer service as well. That's another big plus for going with something like that.
Yeah.
There's companies.
This Roadster shop chassis we got in the shop right now, and the guy cut the fucking cross member out in the middle, and I was like, hey man, I called and I was like, I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. What the fuck am I missing? And he was like, yeah, somebody's an idiot and took all this out. And they were like, I don't know why they did that whenever we built this frame to have like bolt up to 6 or 7 different fucking transmissions. And it's already made for the transmission we have in it, you know.
Bastards.
Yeah. Sons of bitches. But, I mean, we can't sit here and talk for hours on fucking rear ends because it's just rear ends. But the benefits you're getting out of those is...
okay, so, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say the benefits, just repeat myself. The benefits is you're going to get fucking more horsepower to the ground, or you're going to get better gas mileage, or you're going to try to get the best of both worlds. What else do we got to fucking talk about?
To mate up with that, you can really upgrade your drive shaft.
Yeah.
It's obviously it starts with your driveline angle. That's what's going to give you less vibration. But sometimes with higher horsepower, higher speed, what you want is a larger diameter drive shaft.
Yeah.
It spins less fast.
Yeah, there's more. It's bigger circumference.
Larger circumference. The bigger the circumference, the slower the speed will be. Anyway,
Yeah.
You can also go with aluminum drive shaft for lighter, lighter weight, and carbon fiber as well.
Yeah.
You can buy carbon fiber drive
That's fucking
shafts.
insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
I couldn't even imagine.
Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more expensive for carbon fiber.
I'd imagine.
But if it's for what you want, if it's going to be for your needs, it's worth it.
Fuck yeah. But a lot of people don't think about that. They start doing upgrades and shit like that, and they don't even think about the fucking drive shaft.
They think it's fine.
Right.
This will work fine.
It's fine. What? Is there something wrong with that drive shaft?
Especially if
Possibly.
Yeah. And especially if you use your local drive shaft place, and they do this all day long, and you take it down there and you get your new drive shaft made, you bring it back and you put it on your car and you go down the road and it has a vibration. You're like, what's the vibration?
Yeah.
And then you spend weeks looking for your vibration, and you take parts off and you put new parts off. And then you're thinking, it can't be the drive shaft because I just got it made. I just had it balanced down there.
Yeah, some bitch. Fucking Earl did it. He fucking knows what he's doing.
He's been doing it for 50 years.
Fuck yeah.
Anywho, turns out it's your drive shaft, and it's probably because you didn't go with the right people, or if you didn't go with the right drive shaft, just
Yeah. Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. And, obviously...
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, ask him how he fucking knows. The next in this whole little world we got here going, we're talking about coil overs and air ride. Obviously, the benefits of both are astronomical. If a lot of people don't like air ride. A lot of people say that air ride's fucking junk. It's only for going up and down. It's only for dropping it on the fucking frame.
Maybe in the 90s.
Yeah.
Or the 2000s.
Yeah.
Or the 2010s. But nowadays, there's a lot more that you can install along with your air ride to make it more economically, but Jesus, I can't say.
Economical.
Yeah.
No, it's
Economically.
if you get some self-leveling shit,
There it is.
If you get some self-levelers with it and stuff, and you're hammering on it pretty good, going into turns and stuff. I mean, it's going to smooth everything out, you know.
Yeah, and it, nowadays you can buy better kits that, you know, you don't have to have your pressure gauge with your toggle switches.
Yeah.
And just putting them all up at 100 pounds and calling it good.
Yep, I'm
running
good to
down
go.
the road.
Yep.
There are companies that you can go to like RideTech and AccuAir. That especially RideTech. I love RideTech. This is not a sponsored podcast.
He goes to Ride Tech every Sunday morning at 10 a.m.
I mean, I've dealt with AccuAir, I've dealt with RideTech, I've dealt with Easy Ride a little bit, but the AccuAir works well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't used those guys in a couple of years, so I don't know if they have their own controller or if you have to use their app. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Some of these that Randy's talking about, you got to have, like, it's all Bluetooth.
Yeah, I think Easy Ride, it was Bluetooth. You have to have their app update. You have to update your app, and it does work. It's a little slow. The one I used.
I'm not too fond of anything that has to be connected to my phone to work outside of my Bluetooth.
Wirelessly,
and
it could be slow. It's not like your radio when you hook it up and it takes like 5 seconds for it to hook up, and then finally you get to play your music.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it works with your Air Ride. You go to change your Air Ride setting, and it takes a good 10 seconds, and then it finally goes up or down, and you're like, at that point, if you're not
you've been
patient,
sitting in McDonald's fucking parking lot.
If you're not patient
for 20 seconds waiting on this thing.
If you're not patient, you could literally confuse the computer.
Yeah.
And then it'll just go crazy, and you're like, what is happening with my Air Ride system? Well, you freaked it out.
You hit too many fucking buttons.
You hit too many buttons and you freaked it out. But but the RideTech system, it's USB wired, so it works instantaneously, and the controller it comes with is a tiny little screen. Well, actually, I think now that you can buy different size screens,
Nice.
but the screens have all the controllers right there. You have three heights you can set it to, 1, 2, 3, and then you can air it all out or lift it all the way up, or you can even do individually on all four corners, or you can do front and rear.
Yeah.
It gives you all those different options. And then to add to that, obviously they sell height sensors.
Yep.
So along with that,
This is also self-levelers, right?
Yeah, it's self-leveling, and you once you turn a key on, it goes directly to number 2. That's just your regular ride height.
Yep.
And that's what it drives at, and that's what it when you're driving down the road and it hits a bump, it sees the height sensor, dip.
Yep.
And it corrects it, and then it goes back to normal.
Same thing going down the road, and it's got a little pitch in it.
Yeah.
You
don't have the air ride. I don't. There's got to be some kind of term for that. The air ride lean.
Right. Well, it's just fucking. You're just sitting static.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting static, like a coil over or something, like we were just talking about upgrading to. If you don't want to do the air ride, and you're comfortable with there's a lot of shit that can go wrong with air rides. So I know a lot of people that they don't like to go down the road that they don't fucking know.
Well, there are some downfalls to air ride, and that's your airbag placement and your bracket placement. If your brackets are rubbing up, if you have anything rubbing up against the airbags, eventually the airbag is going to fail.
Fucking right.
So you are eventually going to have issues if that's the case. I know with that 49 Diamond T, I have to clearance some of those airbags because I notice they're touching. That's a no-go. You can't do that because eventually you're going to be stuck on the side of the road.
Going to wear.
It's going to wear.
Especially when you start driving a damn thing.
Yeah.
Airing it up, putting it down. Airing it up, putting it down. Because everybody likes to see it. Hey, look at this. Air it up, put it down.
That's what's cool about air ride. You pull up to anywhere. You pull up to the elementary school, dropping your kid off. You air that thing down. You get all the kids coming around there. Look at this card. Look at this guy. This guy's the coolest. And then your little kid gets out. Your little boy, little girl gets out, and they're the coolest people on the whole school.
Shit, yeah. And then Daddy drags the fucking tail right out the fucking exit.
Just throwing sparks. Yeah. But the benefits to air ride is obviously the ride.
And the cool factor, if you can lower that fucker and go up and down on just a whim. I mean, it's like hydraulics. I haven't gotten into a lot of hydraulics outside of like machines that needed it. But I mean, there's some fucking cool hydraulic systems.
Well, nowadays nowadays I know there's one company called Mittler Brothers. They make a hydraulic system that's not like when you think of a hydraulic system, you think of lowriders, but it's not like this. It's not instantaneous like shooting a car up in the air kind of thing. It's a slow, gradual movement up or down. And actually, Mittler Brothers, they sell a system that has coil overs too. Yeah. So the coil overs they're short coil overs, right. but they're part of the hydraulic system. Part of your it's part of the suspension. So you still go up and down like an air ride system, but you still have coils.
Yeah. You still have the shock and spring.
Yeah, and actually, I was just at SEMA last year, and I come across their booth, and now they do sell height sensors with their system now.
Yeah.
Before they didn't do that, but now they do sell height systems, height sensors.
Yeah. But if you're going to go none of those routes to make it go up and down, and you're happy with where it's sitting, coil overs all day.
That's going to give you the best overall look.
Yeah, you can adjust.
Depending on what kit you buy, you can adjust them too.
Yeah,
and that's going to give you the best peace of mind as far as your ride goes.
Yeah.
Those versus airbags. You don't have to deal with the airbags blowing or airlines leaking or airlines blowing anything like that. No. But I'm going to give you this real quick.
Okay.
If you're doing air ride and you're scared of air ride, the trick is good clean cuts on your airlines.
Yep.
And as we said earlier, your clearancing issues with the airbags themselves. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Good clean cuts. You spray them with some soapy water, make sure they're not leaking. That's all you need.
Yeah. And if you need any sort of like reference, when you're driving down the road next time and you see that 52-foot trailer with a tractor on front of it, just know that's all on fucking air ride.
Right.
Every single one of them that you see is on air ride.
Yeah.
So anytime you see a tractor trailer, they have been on air ride since air ride's been air riding. Like, seriously. And they got self-levelers and shit on there, I mean, think about it. You think some of them dump trucks and shit, if they were on a cocked fucking drive, they wouldn't just tip over because of how top-heavy they are?
Right.
I mean, that's just, Hell, even their seats inside are fucking on air.
The whole cab's on air ride, isn't it?
Yeah, even the seat, even the driver's seat. You just sit there and...
Yeah, even the driver's seat, yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hell, even the horn's on air. I forget what the hell I was going to say about the coil overs.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Okay, if you put the coil overs on, and if you're around anybody that is doing coil over shit, and they are like, well, I need to adjust this one coil like a shitload more than the other one, you got a fucking problem.
Oh, yeah. Check your...
Everything.
Check your...
everything.
So, little tip real quick.
Tip of the day.
If that happens, first check, especially if you have an adjustable sway bar. Whoop. I just clicked that thing.
Tip of the day with Randy Bunting.
Tip of the day. If your coilovers are adjusted differently to get if you're measuring your fenders to the floor or whatever, check if like I said, if you have adjustable sway bar, check your sway bar, make sure they're adjusted. The preload is adjusted properly. Other than that, I would check your frame, see if it's twisted.
Well, not only that, maybe you should check to see if the sway bar end links are broke.
Or that. Yeah, that can happen
snapped
too.
completely the fuck out.
Which actually is
Seems to happen more often than not.
Yeah, well, it could be. Just make sure when you're setting your ride height up and you're setting your car up, make sure everything is set up the same, and you're not
Plumb. Make sure it's plumbed.
Yeah, and
Level.
don't adjust it on a crooked ass surface.
Yeah, and if you do, level it, not to the surface. I mean, I guess you could level it to the surface as long as you remember it's level to the surface.
Right.
As long as the surface is level. As long as it's leveled, unleveled. You know what I mean?
I'm confused.
So, like, if it's unleveled but leveled that way, you don't want the back end having a cock to it and the front end having a cock to it.
That's just going to throw everything off.
Right.
Yep.
So you might as well just level to the earth. Level to level.
Level it to the level is to love of levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah, I mean, coil over. I'm kidding. Coil overs. I'm going to go back to coil overs.
Tell me the benefits of the coil overs. Not just okay. We did the being able to adjust it and stuff like that, but just the ride. Okay, I'm answering your fucking question. It's the ride. It's just a nice, smoother ride. It's better. It's just fucking better.
That's what I would have said.
It's just better.
It is better than just having coils.
Springs,
springs,
leaf springs.
Leaf springs is better than leaf springs. Yeah, and especially if you have if you go with a 4-link setup, coil over is the way to go. As long as you set up your geometry properly, it should work out fine.
Yeah,
and picking coil overs is not that easy. You do have to take into consideration your actual suspension travel.
Yep. The stroke
and
stroke me.
Welcome to Elliot's karaoke night.
That's all you're getting.
From fully depressed to fully expanded, you just have to make sure that you get the right measurement.
Yeah,
the middle of the range is what you want. But anyway, moving on. Now we can move on.
Brakes.
Yeah, there are a lot of good options on brakes. You can. Do you mind if I just keep going?
With what?
I don't know.
Just keep going.
All right. So.
Why are you going back to coil overs?
Back to coil overs. If you are doing coil overs, make sure you get an alignment.
Right. That's fucking necessary anytime.
Anytime, yeah. Anyway, brakes. You have a lot of different options, but I'm going to give you the big three.
Yeah.
I guess you could say the big three.
In our world, anyway.
In the hot rod world,
industry.
In this industry, the big three are Willwood, Bear, and Brembo.
Yep.
I've dealt with a lot of Willwood brakes. I love their brakes as far as my experience with them. I've dealt with a little bit of a Bear setups, but the Brembos, I've dealt with Brembos. I like Brembos.
Yeah.
They're probably. I mean, Brembos are probably, I would think, the more mainstream name you can buy.
Yeah, I think
because
so.
you can buy brand new motorcycles or brand new cars with Brembo brakes.
I was just going to say motorcycles.
They're
engine
huge.
backs.
Yeah, they're huge in the industry. Custom or brand new.
Well, I feel like any upgrade, like if you're running drums, we've talked about this in the past. If you're running drums, you can keep the fucking drums.
Yeah, drums work fine.
Yeah.
for certain vehicles.
Yeah, if you got an inline 6 and you're not fucking running if you're not high speeds, because I mean that's what brakes are for. If you're running super high speeds a lot, the drums are not what you want.
If you're putting disc brakes on a 6-cylinder car, it's just for aesthetics.
Aesthetics.
That's it.
Yeah, unless you got some fucking wild 6-cylinder. inline six that you did some wild ass.
Yeah, I guess unless you're doing like a speed run at Bonneville,
Right.
or something like that. But then again, you're using a parachute, so
Yeah. But even then, if you got the right upgraded drum setup, it's all aesthetics at that point in time. Like Randy said, if it's too, like, you don't need them. If you don't, if you just don't. As far as having slow horsepower, and if you're just putzing around town, like, you don't fucking need them.
yeah,
That's all you're doing. Is you don't need to upgrade. But if you're going to be running it, if you're going to use the fucking 750 horsepower you put underneath the fucking hood, then definitely go with disc, and definitely upgrade to something worth having.
yeah. And if you're doing like autocross, or if you're doing drag racing, or if you're doing if you're a speedy driver, if you
Back roads of Pennsylvania.
yeah, and you like to kick it a gear, like, yeah, some slotted disc rotors are gonna work just fine for you, and it's gonna actually benefit you for doing that. But
Just make sure you measure properly. Make sure you get the right
kit for
the right kit for the right car.
Yeah. And besides the big three that I mentioned earlier, you can also go with OEM parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go with Corvette parts, or Camaro parts, or whatever you're working on. Like, okay, I'm just going to go with Corvette parts. Like, you can buy Corvette brakes.
Well, that C10 we have in the shop has Z06.
Yeah.
What the hell is it? 2000? Fuck, were those?
11? No.
Yeah,
11?
I think they are 11. 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
you can literally go to O'Reilly's Auto Parts and buy brake pads.
yeah, unless you need the front brake caliper from that Z06 that they only built for 3 years, and they only made that color one fucking year, and you can't find it.
There you got to do your research.
Yeah, because that's what we fucking ran into. But every other piece of that fucking thing, as long as some dumbass in another shop didn't decide to fucking lose one of the calipers, you'll be fine. Should be able to go down a fucking road and stop.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not into the aftermarket brake companies or aftermarket parts in general, you can go with the OEM, and you can find some pretty decent big brakes.
Oh yeah, some fucking Cadillac brakes and shit like that. I mean, some high end Cadillac, some fast ass shit.
Mustang brakes, something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which might be harder to come by on like Facebook Marketplace, maybe eBay, but
yeah,
they are out there. Well, I mean, you can buy them.
There's a shitload of Corvette brakes.
Oh yeah,
because when I was looking for that fucking caliper, there was a shitload that were the wrong ones that I found.
and you can. Oh, okay. Well, and you can also find like Corvette suspension that you can buy too.
Oh yeah,
anything like that. But anyway. And to wrap those nice big brakes that you just bought, there are plenty of different wheel and tire packages that you can find.
Yeah, we ain't even fucking going into that.
No, we're not, because there's so many different options that we don't
so many swinging dicks in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we didn't even write it down on this paper because it's like it's not even.
We didn't even write swinging dick down.
Mine has it. There it is, swinging. She was swinging, dick. But no, I'm just gonna point this out here though. Like if you ever, when you buy wheels and tires for your car or truck or whatever it is, van, whatever, make sure, and this is just my opinion, make sure your wheels are timeless. If you're looking to have a nice build. Like a nice build, I would find some timeless wheels. Not. I mean, if you're doing a '90s build, then fine, go with '90s wheels or whatever. But
no, just don't.
if you're doing a 90s build,
Okay,
it's I feel
I'm
like it's
gonna
fine.
yep, I'm sorry.
I feel like it's fine if you're doing a 90s. I'm doing
yeah,
quotations
fuck
here.
yeah. If you're doing a 90s build, you might as well just go buy a fucking piece.
You can
of
buy some blades, man.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. But anyway, I would say that's the only thing I have to say as far as wheels goes. Tires, just they're going to be
fucking whatever, dude.
Tires. You find something that's going to be have a nice tread that looks cool, or it's not too soft, obviously. Cause,
yeah. The only time I was ever anal about tires is on my motorcycles.
Oh well,
my engine
I'm
backs.
swapped. I can't wait to swap mine out. I hate mine on mine. But
I tell you what, the go-to engine back tire that I got were the Commander 2s, the Michelin Commander 2s.
And because you said that, I bought mine on my last bike, and I don't ever want to buy anything else.
I've never been on a bike where when I'm hitting some rain and shit like that, I actually felt like I was in control.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I've ran Pirellis, the fucking Harley Dunlops.
I don't like those.
No, fuck no.
I don't like those.
Those are fucking dime a dozen, unless you go to Harley to buy them. But as far as cars go, trucks and cars, I mean, if it's got a 40,000 mile warranty on the son of a bitch, I'm talking about my own personal vehicle, 40,000 mile warranty, 60,000 mile warranty or something like that,
Yeah.
fuck. I don't really care what it is. Never have.
I mean, my last car, I actually bought Continental. What were they called? They had a really cool tread to them.
Yeah.
I like cool treads. I don't know. That's
Well,
just me.
that Michelin Commander 2, that one, that has a cool fucking tread.
Yeah, it does.
Aggressive, rowdy,
Continental,
slicey.
they're like DW Contact something. I don't remember. But I actually bought those for the F100 I built. Before I moved out here. They're just like a really cool. I don't know. I just like cool treads.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I
just,
think one of my favorite tires is a Mickey Thompson.
yeah.
Just because I feel like I got a fucking minigun.
I had Mickey Thompsons on my my '93 Chevy pickup.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want the basic like Cooper, your basic Coopers or whatever. But I wanted something a little bit different. I had Mickey Thompsons with the white lettering. It looked really nice.
Yeah. Well, white lettering. I mean, I love white lettering. I like white walls.
Yeah.
I like the little pinstripe red walls. Certain applications, anyways.
Yeah,
But
those
the
the old Mustangs had a red wall or
Yeah.
red stripe around them.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a red wall.
No, it's not a red wall.
It's like a pinstripe.
It's a stripe.
But they might call it red wall. I have no fucking idea.
I don't know. But they're the Coker tires. I think they might have been Coker.
Coker?
Coker. Why is it so fun to say that? Coker.
Coker.
Anyway, we're gonna move on here, right? We're gonna move on to topic 3. Is that cool with you?
Well, yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay.
We're just working our way down the old list.
Number 3. Topic number 3 here. We're gonna go with the inside of the car, the gauges, or wiring and radio.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that here.
This is the final topic, too, in case you guys are getting antsy.
No, there's a topic 4.
Is there a topic 4? What the fuck is it?
I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, I don't have a topic 4. It's cheers and drink.
Yeah, that's topic 4.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't notice, if you haven't listened to any of our other podcasts, we're pretty big advocates on the upgrading of wiring and the gauges. That's a given. You cannot beat some of the stuff you get nowadays, especially, and we put radios in this because, I mean, who doesn't want a fucking touchscreen with GPS nowadays?
I mean, that's an upgrade.
Fuck yeah. That's self-explanatory. I don't even need to tell anybody why the benefits of upgrading the radio and shit. Let's see. I can get FM now. And I don't have a fucking ugly ass antenna. It's just hanging out somewhere. Get rid of that.
You could have a 1948 fucking Chevy Deluxe with touchscreen navigation.
Right.
You really could.
And heated and cooled seats.
That too. Yeah.
And air conditioning and all that. That's what the fuck we're talking about. When we say air conditioning and you don't have it, I'm pretty sure we don't need to tell you the benefits of that. And if you've never had heated and cooled seats, like if you don't own an Indian motorcycle and you don't have heated and cooled seats on your motorcycle,
here we go.
Well, then I don't know what to fucking tell you. All I know is I haven't had swamp ass since. Cheers to swamp ass.
I ain't cheersing.
Not having swamp ass.
Oh, not having. There you go.
But as far as gauges go, I cannot stress enough Dakota Digital gauges.
It's just the best out there.
It is.
This is the way it is.
It's just the way it is. I don't know, like, the fact, okay. If Dakota Digital didn't have that, like, telephone wire, that old school wall mount telephone wire that runs from the wiring box up to the gauges.
The Ethernet cord?
Yeah, that too. If it didn't have that, I don't know if I'd like it as much. Because I think there's some compatible shit out there, but you got to fuck around with all the wiring.
Well, my biggest thing with Classic Instruments, and I know it's in the name, Classic Instruments, but is their design with they're still using an analog odometer. Their odometer, is that the right word? Analog?
Mechanical connection.
Mechanical
gauges.
Their odometer. It looks like it's
like you still need that fucking square cable that ties into the transmission.
No, they have electronic speedo.
Okay.
Wiring.
Okay. Right.
I'm saying their actual physical. Excuse me. Their actual physical odometer.
It rolls.
It's a rolling odometer that looks like it was from
like a people counter.
Like an old car.
Click, click, click.
Yeah, like an old car. And
well, it's Classic Instruments. It should.
That's what I mean. It's in the name. If that's fine if you're building something from the 1980s.
Yeah.
But and that's why I like that's one of the reasons why I like Dakota Digital so much, because it's actually digital.
Whoa, fuck.
It comes on a screen.
You get the upgraded version of that, and you can change the colors when you turn the, like, you can do any color you want, any color combination, and you can even
yeah, it sweeps when you turn the key on.
What the fuck is it called? The needle. You can change the color of the needle.
Oh, that's dope.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to bash Classic Instruments.
No, they're fine. They're fine. It's just
they're fine.
They're just not up to par. I don't know what to tell you. Like
I just feel like
my bad that your shit ain't up to par.
I understand that they're they are classic instruments. That's what they are. But I feel like they're behind their times. I feel like they are behind the times.
Yeah.
They do. Okay, here's an instance real quick. Okay, I'm going to keep going down that path here. We're hanging
right.
Sort of bash.
We're heading out of town. We're coming back.
We're going to head out of town for a minute here, but that 31 Chevy we built for the Riddler.
Mm-hmm. I didn't build it.
Okay, well,
don't let anybody out there get skewed that I was part of that. No. Fuck you.
This was a shop I worked at if you haven't heard one of our previous episodes, the shop I worked at before I moved out here to join Elliot here. But I was a part of the 31 Chevy Riddler build Showbird that was a couple of years ago. This was one of the only things I didn't like about that car was the instrument panel.
Yeah,
I liked the instrument panel. We had Classic Instruments make us an instrument panel.
Yeah,
custom made.
Yeah,
like this thing was like
one of one.
One of one. It was one of one for a brand. Oops, hit this thing again. For a brand new Riddler build. Like these cars are supposed to be
one of one.
It's supposed to be one of one, but they're supposed to be
top of the line, top tier,
top of the line, new, innovative,
yeah,
everything. But the Classic Instruments gauge cluster had that old school rolling odometer,
yeah,
and it killed it for me. It really did. I did not like it, and I liked the design and everything. I just didn't like. It's not modern. It's not modern.
Right. I mean, I guess it sounds like that's their fucking thing.
That it is their thing, and that's why I do like their stuff. They have some good products.
They don't like change. It sounds like
that's what it seems like to me. I don't know.
Well, if we're gonna complain about some gauges, Dakota Digital, let's complain about their fucking digital fucking.
Oh, the old school digital looking ones. I don't even know why they keep those around.
Because the fucking people that are in charge of the dial fucking gauge that you're talking about are still in charge. Yeah. And they're still fucking drinking coffee at 6:00 in the morning telling people what to do while they're picking ass cheeks.
We're keeping this here.
Yep. I'm going to keep it till I die. The fuck? Let's get to it.
I totally agree, man. I don't know why they still make those.
Yeah. Look, Back to the Future. They were going to the future. They weren't going back to it.
Yeah, the only thing they belong in is the cars that might have come with them back in the 80s.
No, the only thing they belong to is a fucking Nova that some guy in his backyard built, the son of a bitch, and he takes her down to the drag strip every fucking Saturday night during the summer.
Well, if you're... I mean, it's fine for racing
cars.
Exactly. For race cars, it's fine.
That's why I'm saying it's fine.
Because
it's fucking, that's what it is.
For race cars, it's fine, people. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's why they still sell them.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that is why they still sell them.
It is.
But people end up putting them in their...
Well, you know that fucking show that you know, all those guys that wear knit caps on in the summertime, those shows that they watch. Those drag racing shows, they just love them. That's why they still sell them. Because fuckers are wearing knit caps in the middle of summer.
Knit caps. Where were we?
Knit caps in the middle of summer, Randy. That's where we were.
I remember that. Oh, gauges. Okay, so you got Dakota Digital. The benefits of running aftermarket gauges, obviously, are it's new and they're not going to burn down on you, especially if you're going from 6 volt to 12 volt.
Well, it's instant.
Well, it's
with it being electric,
it is an instant. You can either run mechanical speedo or electronic speedo, so you have that option as well.
Or a combination of the two, because it's kind of a combination.
It is. Well, it is, depending on what transmission you're running. If you're running a 700R4, you're still going to have a mechanical gear in there. You're just going to... It's going to transfer that to electronics. So
yeah, it's going to have a Hall effect switch. It's going to be a 5-volt readout.
Yep. So then, you have Dakota Digital Classic, and you have Intellitronics and Dolphin. Dolphin is an old school one.
I used a Dolphin. It was interesting, very interesting. Actually, I think that's the one that has like some sort of switches on the back.
The dip switches, is that what they call them?
Well, there's four switches. You can change them. I think it's to change certain settings within the gauges themselves.
Yeah, I know the Teletronics. They had switches like dip switches for the fuel.
Yeah.
The
2 up, 2 down.
Yep.
Was for fucking this sort of ohm reading and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's another. Okay. Continue, and I'll go back to Dakota Digital. Continue what you're saying.
Well, that was pretty much it. I was just kind of letting the listeners know what brands that they can look for.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, every time we go run something off that isn't Dakota Digital, we actually build our own plug system to plug right into the damn thing.
Yeah, and basically Dakota Digital does that for you.
Yep.
It's just a lot easier to...
Dakota Digital's the shit. And let me tell you why, Randy.
Tell me why.
I can change the speed on the fly as I'm driving.
The Speedo?
Yeah, I don't have to run a mile. I can change it on the fly, up and down. Mm-hmm. You can change all those settings right in there, depending on what ohm reading that your fuel sender is. Yep. Any of that shit. Mm-hmm. It's all right there.
There are screens on the gauges that they give you 2 momentary switches.
Yeah, you have screen A, screen B, and you can move shit back and forth. Not only do you have the analog readout, but you have a digital readout if you want it.
Yep.
And you can turn all that shit off. And then you can even put it in a demo mode. A lot of people don't know about the demo mode. When you turn the key on and you hold, I don't know which, you hold it, I can't remember which switch you hold, because there's a 1, a neutral, and a 2 as far as the switch goes.
Right.
I think if you hold 2 and you turn the key on, it puts it in demo mode. So if you're out at a car show or whatever and you want to fucking show off, you can let that run, and it'll just constantly move those needles up and down. All the lights follow it throughout the system. It's fucking badass.
Mm-hmm. And that's how they have them show them at trade shows and stuff like that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's just a little bit. And then you can have adapters on that shit that you can tie into cruise control.
You can do cruise control.
You can tie into, you can actually have temperature readouts, so you can get outside thermometers that you can attach to the truck or car and have the readout for that shit.
A barometer.
Huh?
A barometer. Oop.
I don't need nothing about the pressure. I'm talking thermometer.
I thought you can also do a barometer on that one. On,
Probably.
Dakota Digital.
Probably. I don't know.
I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
I don't know, but a thermometer.
An outside temp, yeah.
Yeah. Does it even have north, south, east, and west with it?
Well, it's...
I'm not sure if it has that with the thermometer or not.
Not sure.
But you can put in shift lights, I believe, in that too, can't you?
There's so many modules you can buy for that.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Well, there's a fan module.
Yeah.
There's fucking a bunch.
Go on their website.
Yeah.
They even have stuff for motorcycles.
Check it out. Yeah, they do. And they have all sorts of shit. And their designs are pretty cool. And like I was talking about earlier,
and so many different cars you can buy them for.
Yeah, and you can get a universal setup, but if you get the upgraded version, because you can get red, blue, or white, where you can upgrade it, and you can get infinite, and you can change colors. Like when you turn the lights on, you can have your gauges reading purple with the lights off, and then when you turn the lights on, you can have it swap and turn all to yellow. But I'm talking about like your numbers are yellow, but your fucking tack's a different color, and your needle's a different color, and it's just that in and of itself is awesome.
Excuse me.
But wiring it up is just a breeze when it comes to it. It's got a small box. It almost looks like a fuse box, and everything is fucking labeled on there. to where your wire is supposed to go. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so easy. It really is.
It's just awesome. And then it's got a little sensor in there, a little red light that flashes. And if you didn't wire something properly, it knows right now that, hey man, you got the constant and the key on backwards. And it already knows. Ask me how I know.
I did not know that.
Yeah, ask me how I fucking know.
How'd you know?
I did it.
Okay.
I definitely did it. And then that brings us right into wiring.
Speaking of wiring.
Yeah, speaking of wiring, we run a lot of nothing but American Auto wire because
I just like that the best.
It's great. It's just really good shit. It's, from my understanding, it is not the CCA, which is copper clad aluminum, which is copper wrapped around aluminum. So it's less, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't run through it smoothly. The electricity.
Okay. Yep.
Copper's what you want. But this is aluminum wrapped in copper, which is a low end baloney. And you don't want that. You'll find that in stuff like anything that says Speedway on the motherfucker.
What, copper-clad aluminum?
Yeah.
Right.
And if you get on Amazon and stuff, like you can buy pretty decent shit on Amazon. I don't care what anybody says. Like you can get your hands on some quality stuff, and wiring is one of them. But if you're not paying attention, you ain't gonna find what you're looking for. But we run, like I said, the American Auto wire. We've also worked with Painless. There's also Ron Francis. And like I said, there's Speedway, and you can get shit from Jegs and stuff like that. But basically, the number one thing to do, in my opinion, when you're talking about upgrading wiring, now, if we're specifically talking benefits here, is what we've been talking about this whole time. And if you got an old car and you don't think it needs wiring, then you got something fucking wrong with you, because let me tell you, that old wiring is brittle and crisp, and the outside of it is somewhere it got heated up at some point in time. And if you bend it the wrong way, it's going to start to crack. And 9 times out of 10, I don't care what fucking car you got or where the hell it came from, some Joe Blow was underneath there, crawling his fat ass around, cutting wires and adding shit. And more than likely, there's going to be a random hot wire just going about in there you know nothing about. And you'll all of a sudden just start seeing a spark one day and not have a clue where the hell it's coming from. But if you don't want your car to burn down, like, yeah, you don't hear about it a lot. But let's just face it, Teslas are burning down for shit's sake, and that's brand new. And there's a lot of fucking wiring in that. And you don't want to have any dumb incidences like that with something as stupid as getting the new wiring put in. If you don't know what you're doing as far as wiring goes, it's fucking easy, because if you're buying quality harnesses, then you're going to be getting some sort of wiring schematic with it. And if you have an issue like back in the day, whenever you would have like the maze books where you got to fucking follow the lines and go through the maze. If you got problems with that, you're going to have problems with fucking wiring harness or wiring fucking shit. But it's not difficult, man. If you don't know it, Google it. It's going to tell you there's a keyway in a damn thing. But anyways, yeah. The benefits outweigh the cons, because you're talking about burning your fucking car down or a truck or whatever.
If you wire the new wiring harness right.
Yeah, you're talking about, well, I'm just talking about the benefits of putting a wiring harness in,
Yeah.
That's, the benefits outweigh tenfold. And the first thing I would do with any vehicle that I would buy that's fucking old.
Because you can never trust.
Fuck no.
You can never trust the previous owner.
No. You can't. And you can't trust the previous owner before that, or the previous owner before that, or the previous owner before that.
Right. Because most likely the person who bought that car trusted that person. Not even realizing.
Yeah. Well, how many times have I crawled underneath the fucking dash and there's house wiring nuts on the son of a bitch? Come on now, Jack. To hell. But
not you, Jack. The other Jack.
Yeah. Yeah, the other Jack. Sorry, Jack. But there's it's just the benefits of putting new wiring in is second to none, especially if it's a 6-volt system. Like if you're talking 6-volt system and it's that old, I mean, I have personally band-aided up 6-volt wiring from the fucking 1930s.
You're not gonna run your 1940s house on 1940s wiring. Right. It's not up to code.
Well, yeah, there you have it. That's all you need to say. Perfect. Fucking brilliant.
Done. Episode done.
Over and out.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I still got a little bit left.
But what are you thinking? I mean, I beat the shit out of the wiring. You know, you got anything to add? That American Auto wire is where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, I've dealt with Painless. I've dealt with Ron Francis.
Yeah.
Ron Francis is okay, but Painless, it's a...
I feel like you should go nothing but price when it comes to wiring, and anything under $399.99 you shouldn't buy.
Anything under what American Auto wire costs is not what you need to buy.
Yeah, I mean you can I've used Painless plenty of times, but
it's not. It's actually Painless wiring. Sometimes I feel like they're lying.
What about Painless?
Yeah.
Being Painless?
It is painful sometimes.
Well, I think every fucking wiring job is fucking painful.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But Painless, the way they have everything laid out, it's just not as user friendly as I would like.
Yeah.
Well, as a professional, I can figure it out and it's fine.
Yeah.
But
it's funny because the cheaper shit that I've used in the past are the harder ones to put together because their fucking schematic ain't even a schematic. They got some pictures of the wires, and it's like
they have pictures of the wires, and then they have the wires labeled, but not with the wires that are pictured.
It makes no sense. Why would you have a fucking wiring harness and not have a wiring schematic at all?
I don't know. We're just gonna say if you're looking at wiring harnesses, I just stick with the American Auto wire.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wiring harnesses, if you're not spending, I don't understand how people can be like, that's so fucking expensive. It's fucking $400, $350.
You know why it's expensive?
$450.
It's more expensive because it's less expensive to install. But I guess it's less expensive to install because it's more expensive. Does that make sense?
I feel like, anytime we do what we do, it takes quite a while to do it.
It takes a long time.
But we're putting connectors on. We're making it fucking so.
Well, we
do
do extra steps. We do extra steps as for what we do. But even if you're gonna spend more time putting together a Painless or Ron Francis.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Yes, you're absolutely fucking right, and you're going to be more confused about it.
And that's what that's the benefit there.
Yeah,
it's
we're talking about a difference of $150 between if you hire somebody to do it, and it's I don't really want to do this one because it sucks. Even if it takes somebody an extra 2 hours or an extra hour to do something, And they're $150 an hour. There's your fucking $150.
Yeah.
Or you could spend an extra $150 on wiring, and it takes them 2 hours less, 3 hours less, because it's not such a fucking pain in the ass. There you just save money.
Yeah. If you have less money, more time, you can go with the other ones. But if you have less time and probably the same amount of money if you're paying somebody.
Yeah. If you want quality, spend the money, man. Like you just fucking dropped $15,000 on a fucking frame and chassis, and you're complaining about not getting the best wiring harness you can get that's fucking $500. And we're not saying that every fucking one of these American Auto wires $500. We're just saying
We're just throwing out a number.
I'm just throwing $500 out there. You know, I'm just trying to put some fucking shit into easy perspective here.
It's worth the money.
Yeah. But if in all honesty, if you're not spending $300 on a wiring harness, you're getting fucking ripped off. In more ways than one.
And not in a good way.
Yeah, because I feel like $350 is like a bare minimum for wiring harness.
Does that make sense? Not in a good way. I don't know. Anyway.
Anywho, last but not least in this fucking thing is your radio, which we tapped into just a touch earlier when I said about being able to run a GPS and shit. You know, being able to hook up Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. They make stuff now, it's like retro sound and shit like that, where it looks like the old school radio, but all it does is connect to Bluetooth. Like that's just that in and of itself is worth it.
Yeah. You can hook up your phone and
yeah, and then you can even hide a microphone somewhere. So
yeah,
you can
be like driving a new car around.
Yeah.
If you had everything that we listed on this in this episode, if you had everything, and then you top it off with a microphone and Apple CarPlay,
yeah, and GPS,
like, you're driving a 1957 brand new car,
right?
Brand new car,
and that's what the fuck we do. Like that's what we do. Like. When I used to tell people, like when I started doing this shit, I was like, I build fucking hot rods. And, well, I would tell them I build hot rods. And they're like, oh, so you're a mechanic. No, I build fucking hot rods. You understand that type of perspective? Like, I build hot rods. Oh, you're a mechanic. No.
It's almost offensive.
Yeah, it kind of is. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with mechanics. And I'm not saying I'm above them. But,
no, I mean,
I build fucking hot rods.
I've been a mechanic. But no, we're not just doing mechanical work.
Yeah,
it's everything.
We're doing some wild shit. We're making stuff work where stuff's not supposed to work.
And you can do it like as far as like if you're doing a touchscreen radio or with Apple CarPlay or whatever. There's tasteful ways of doing it that this doesn't look ugly or doesn't look out of place.
Yep.
And nowadays that's going to be. I feel like that's going to be a little bit more timeless too. Is having something like that because we're in the technology age.
Yeah, that's
now.
what people want.
What people want nowadays is creature comforts.
They want the cool factor of a classic. Let's face it, man. The number one thing we ever talked about in this all fucking podcast is the look, the cool factor. The number one why fucking anybody has a classic car, because it's cool. There's a reason nobody fucking dicks around with Mustangs, like old school Mustangs, because they fucking look good. Lower them. They fucking got great lines. Maybe do a little wide body kit on them, just a touch.
Yeah.
None of that shit like that Netflix show with the son of a bitch wearing the fucking knitted hat in the middle of summer in California.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, fucking. They made a fucking the flared out. Just stop.
You heard him. Just stop.
Yeah. Well, I think it is stopped because I think the guy got sued or something because he did that Batmobile or something. My wife was just looking that shit up the other day. He got sued by the Warner Brothers or whatever because he redid a Batmobile or something, and I guess you can't redo a Batmobile.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Yeah. There goes my dream. Fuckers. It wasn't even a cool Batmobile. Who gives a fuck about the 60s Batmobile? Like, fucking for real.
I mean, it's...
What? It's cool?
It's nostalgic.
It's fucking, yeah. It's nostalgic. Like, whenever I see a meme and it goes, pow. You know? The pow.
Kerpow?
Pow.
I want to make a meme that says, I'm going to buy a painless smack. American Auto Wire. With the Batman and the Robin.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
With the Batmobile in the background. I'm talking like Batman. That, what, 89 or something? Batman with the Joker.
Who played Batman then?
I can't remember what the fuck his name is right now. He played Beetlejuice.
Michael Keaton.
You're damn right.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the fucking Batmobile.
It's been a long time since I've seen. I grew up in the '90s and I watched a little bit of.
Motherfucker was born in the '90s, grew up. He's still shitting green in '93.
What? No, I'm saying at least in the late '90s. No, but. Okay, I'm sorry. I grew up in the early 2000s. For crying out and loud. Anyway, yeah, no.
Anyways,
Michael Keaton, man, I love that guy. I don't know him personally, but I like him as an actor.
Well, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, he was a Joker.
Yeah.
He's dancing the pale moonlight.
See, I don't remember.
Have you ever danced with a Joker in the pale moonlight? I think that's what the fuck he said.
Okay, I haven't seen that since I was like a kid.
Right. Well, anyways, I guess we're gonna shut this fucker down.
The ones I remember were
Mr. Freeze with Arnold.
Well, I do remember those two, but I'm saying that the best memory I have of Batman, and this is going to show my age, is the Batman Return Begins and the Dark Knight.
I think that was a good trilogy. I wasn't a big fan of the very last one.
I thought it was an amazing trilogy.
Oh, fuck yeah. The second one? Oh, dude, I used to go to sleep to that. I would fall asleep like the Joker's coming out of that psych ward.
Yeah, right.
Blowing shit up.
Yeah.
I'd be falling asleep.
Yeah.
And then Christmas time came and it was a Grinch.
Unscripted, by the way. That
now it's Bob Ross. Fall asleep with Bob Ross.
Yeah, right. But anyway.
Yeah, any fucking who.
How we go into Batman movies all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. But like Randy was saying, if you could fucking have everything on this list, you're going to have one badass ride, and more than likely, you're going to have fucking something worth buying now and for a long time.
So here's the kicker. Like, if you have everything on this list, you're either going to be selling it for a lot of money, or it's going to be worth it for your, like, if you're going to keep this for like a family vehicle or whatever, it's going to be worth it down the road.
Yep.
So it's a win-win. Yeah,
I mean it's gonna appeal to anybody who likes a classic car, because you can literally get in it and drive, and you're gonna, like, we didn't even talk about air conditioning and shit, but that just goes hand in hand. You know.
Oh, you're right. We didn't.
Yeah, but fucking air conditioning. If you want to talk about that real quick, Vintage Air all day, every day, and
Vintage
you get
Air,
Dakota Digital gauges that fucking go with the Vintage Air.
Yeah, you're right. Dakota Digital actually makes control unit for,
fucking A.
For vintage air.
Yeah.
Reston Mod Air, they also make a good kit. It's a little bit more on the pricey side, but it's I think it's worth it. It's a good product.
Yeah.
They sell custom vents that you can buy for that for your car, and it's really good product. But definitely doing a new vintage air system like that is gonna make it cool in the summer. That's for sure.
Literally.
And it's R134. It's not R12. All those older cars are R12, and so updating that system updates.
One more for the road.
Being R134 with new system like that with an auto car that you can, for whatever reason you have a leak down the road, you can recharge it. You don't have to go find a R12 can somewhere.
Yeah.
Down in somebody's backyard.
Fucking black market.
Black market for
right
R12
there with the kidneys. Fuck. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this episode. We put a fucking deep one on here.
Yeah, and I feel like these are all good topics to talk about individually later down the road. So, if you want to hear more in depth about something, you just give us a line. Just let us know.
Yeah. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, we're looking for new guests. We're gonna start bringing guests on. So you won't have to listen to my beautiful vocal structure and Randy's beautiful vocal structure, just the two of us. We got a couple of people in line, and I'm excited to bring. We're going to bring you some. We're going to bring you different age groups. We're going to bring you different positions in the industry, other owners of shops, shit like that. Just going to bring you perspectives that you can only get right here on It's All About the Build. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share everything you find of ours. Because the more you do that, the more we can continue to bring you guys content like this. Anything else, Randy?
No, that's pretty much it. Just keep listening, guys.
Yep. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Like, subscribe, share. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, here's to you guys. Ladies and gentlemen.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Pinky's out.
Pinky's out.
See you guys later.
Thanks for listening to this episode of It's All About the Build podcast. Please comment and let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel to follow along, and if you haven't already, check out our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok to keep up with what we have going on every week. Thank you all for listening.